That's gotta be.
Lord.
Well, you ready to knock into this thing, man?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Jameson on the Rocks podcast. Today I have with me Mr. Jarrod. But I was looking at your Instagram today. What is your full name, Jarrod?
My name is Jarrod.
Okay.
So it's Jarrod Miller, but I go by J-Rod.
Okay. For simplicity?
For simplicity and people...
It's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure I was getting this right because I was looking at your Instagram today. I was like, fuck, I hope I haven't been calling the wrong thing all this time, man.
Nah, it was actually a nickname that a friend of mine gave me in 8th grade. Because, growing up with a name like Jarrod, I don't know too many guys named Jarrod. So
I don't know any, man, except for you, of course.
I didn't enjoy my name growing up.
Really?
Until
so it was a tough topic, kind of?
When he came up with that nickname, I kind of found the joy and love in my name again. So
I love that, man. Yeah, I bet teachers were pronouncing it wrong and everything, so that kind of helped.
Everyone.
Yeah, everyone.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Syllabus day, yeah. Mr. Jarrod Miller.
Yeah.
It's Jarrod.
Well, I like it, man. It's got a nice ring to it. Very original, if you ask me.
Appreciate it.
So we kind of met through, the bar scene downtown, and you are. What is your technical position at 1785 and Moonshines?
So technically, I'm the chief operations officer.
Awesome.
That's a big fancy way of saying I'm the general manager of both businesses.
Word. Okay. And do you have any ties to any other bars, or just those two?
Just those two. Currently, we are actually in expansion mode. We're about to open a bar in Statesboro.
That's awesome. You'd love to hear that.
Yeah, and I'm from that area, so it's great. So
you're from Statesboro?
I am not from Statesboro.
That area?
I'm from Effingham County.
Okay. Word, man.
But just 2 counties away.
Interesting. What kind of got you into was there aspirations to be like the GM CEO kind of thing, or was it like you were working in bars and one day you just like, I'm fucking managing bars? You know what I mean? Like how do you end up there, kind of?
Out of necessity. I went to UGA. I don't know if you knew that.
I did know that. Yes. 90s. What year did
you
you graduate?
No. I my freshman year was 2001.
Word.
At
Okay.
UGA. Marched in Redcoats. I was actually Hairy Dawg. I was the mascot.
Really?
Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
First black mascot at UGA.
Let's go. What instrument did you play?
I play French horn.
Oh, awesome.
So,
curly one, right?
Yeah, that's it. You know it.
With the 3 knobs on it?
Yes, sir. So just like any other student, I needed to work to make money.
Totally.
I had scholarships. I was on the Hope Scholarship. My parents were doing everything they could. And my sister was actually getting ready to go to college as well behind me. And she ended up going to Florida State.
Okay.
So having an older brother who's attending UGA and then they're prepping financially to get ready to send her to Florida State. Yeah. So finances were a little tight. So I was like, man, I got to work,
Got to.
And I don't know if you've tried to get a job in Athens. It is difficult.
It is, man.
All the good work study jobs are taken. I didn't feel comfortable driving a bus.
That's right.
I felt like I was going to run somebody over. I'd never really looked into that. And I always felt like I had friends that were waiters, servers, and
industry
places,
kind of stuff.
And they always talked about they made great money, work with their schedule, and I knew that either working at a restaurant or working at a bar was going to be my ticket to kind of paying bills.
Yeah, totally.
And such. And I kind of, no disrespect to restaurants. But I always felt like that was like labor.
Like, working.
Oh my Lord. And
I had respect to those guys.
I give respect because I like to eat. And I like to be served while I'm eating. So, but for me, I always felt like I'm always at the bars. Now, was I always at the bars of age? No, no. I was an undergrad like everybody else. Trying to show my fake ID.
Totally.
Tilt my head down so he doesn't
wear
look
a
at me.
hat.
I was like, come on, man.
Please. I think that's an era everybody needs to go through.
So, I went through that struggles, so I can pinpoint them when I see them coming to my bar. But yeah, I knew that I was going to be at the bars anyhow. So I was like, man, like all of my friends are going to be at these bars that I want to go to. I should work at a bar.
Yeah.
So instead of spending money, I could be making money, and I'm already going to be where my friends are anyway. So it was a natural transition for me while I was still an undergrad. And I was always kind of one of those people who I never just wanted to do something without giving it my best.
Totally.
So obviously I start working, and within 3 months I was head of security.
What?
Yeah.
That's really fast. What bars were you working at? Anything in particular?
So the bar that I first started working at is actually no longer.
They change the names every couple of years.
Right? It was sold.
Okay. Gotcha.
So the space where Cloud is, it was called the Loft.
Okay.
And I actually was part of the first crew of that business.
Okay.
And it was there for about 5.5 years. I think 2006 is when we started.
Yeah, same space though, upstairs.
Same space upstairs. It was kind of like a Miami style, like almost like a nightclub, but in Athens, there's nightclubs when you go in a major city.
Yeah, totally.
And then there's what you can do in Athens.
Yeah, totally different.
Which is a little bit more toned down, which is a little bit more collegey, bar centric. It's not 100% what you would expect as a nightclub. It's probably more like 65% of what would be.
It's a good ratio in Athens. You know what I mean?
Be considered a traditional nightclub. All the trimmings of a real authentic nightclub.
Okay.
So by having that. It really brought the dance kind of feel to Athens in a way in which people would try to do it in bars when I was an undergrad, and people would dance in bars. So it's kind of like a DJ thing, or there was a DJ,
totally.
And it was a phenomenon that was needed at the time. It's just like anything else. Is like if people really want something, you shouldn't fight it. You should find a way to make sure that they can get it.
Absolutely.
And at the time, there were really no places in undergrad where you can go and dance. So, and the Loft provided that. And it was an explosion. Like it was an amazing space. The owner actually still owns bars here in town. So the Loft was his first bar. Gotcha. His second business was Paulie's. Which he still owns. And his third was Magnolia's. So he had those 3 bars. And then the Loft was obviously sold to the current to the Cloud ownership guys.
Totally.
And it's still Cloud now. So and I left before that sale took place.
Yeah. So you're kind of cutting your teeth there, like learning the
in 5.5 years I went from door guy to, by the end of that 5.5 years, I was the assistant GM.
Wow.
So
that seemed pretty quick.
It was it just happened, know. I work with a lot of phenomenal people, and a lot of the people that I matriculated with then. One of the guys now, he is the GM currently of Magnolia's, and like guys that I knew from around the way that were other bars. Zach Day, who's now the
Silver, right?
He's the GM of Silver.
I like that guy.
Yeah, he was a bartender at All Good.
Really?
So we all kind of knew each other. Mitch Porter, if you ever go to Shokatini, he's the bar manager at Shokatini.
Really?
He worked at 80s and 90s. So a lot of us are of that age demographic where we were kind of ascending in the industry. And now we're all kind of either GMs or part owners or everything of that. So it's kind of cool because we knew each other in our early 20s, and now we're in our 30s. Like, hey man, what you doing? You got some Bengay,
So it's definitely one of those things where you have to cut your teeth. Like you don't just get a job as a GM, right? You have to like know the ins and outs by being security head, by working the door, by being a bar back. You know what I mean?
It is, but Athens. It's because Athens is it's a tight knit community here.
Totally, yeah.
And if you don't understand how this community works, you're really going to be at a disadvantage.
Absolutely.
So coming up in it and learning it just from knowing how Athens functions is one part of it. The other part is actually knowing how your business is going to function.
Yeah, totally.
So every department, whether that be door guys, whether that be bar backs, whether that be your bartenders, your servers, if you're going to have a kitchen, your line cooks,
everything.
And then having a way in which you're going to put all that together, and that's just the structure on the inside. How is that business going to function? What demographic are you going for?
What niche kind of?
What kind of music are you going to be playing? What are your hours going to be? So all of these things kind of go into this factor of what do I want and what do I envision for my business?
Absolutely.
And then how do I go about putting that into the world? How do I make that a reality?
That's super interesting.
And doing that for multiple businesses becomes
Sounds exhausting.
Yeah, it keeps me up at night.
Yeah.
So, I mean, having 1785, which is much more of a, it's chaos in a bottle.
Yeah.
If you will, which is
really
great.
good way to put it.
Well, it's because, we could put so many bodies in there.
Yeah. Is it the biggest cap in Athens or?
I believe we're we're top 3. It's
Yeah.
between us, Warehouse, and Georgia Theater.
Word.
Okay. So, I mean, that many bodies in a business, the crowd almost feels like it comes alive and it takes on a personality of its own, which I love. It feels like a rave. If you've ever been to like a live music event or a rave and everyone's really jamming to a song and the hands are in the air and they're going crazy, like that's what I love in this industry, and I've had to grow to love kind of the opposite of that, which is kind of what we have at Moonshine, which is more of kind of the stand around, kind of chill talk bar. I love that as well. So I've been able to change gears from what was my first love in the industry to kind of also say, man, I appreciate this for what it is as well. And I have a love for that as well. So it definitely allows some dexterity with what we do as a business.
Both sides of a coin, kind of. Yeah, because you go to one place to talk to your buddies and one to jump around. And
you never get bored.
On.
I kind of look at it as, and I see people now who appreciate both, who go to both. So I'll see people who start their night at Moonshine,
get warmed up,
and they'll get a little tipsy. They go, oh, I want to go dance. I want to go dance now. So I don't know about you, but like when I was an undergrad, like I'm not gonna dance sober.
No shot, bro.
I'm not
right
doing
now,
it.
I'm not going to do it. Today.
Yeah. So, but I love the energy, and it's one of the things that, I wish I did more when I was an undergrad because, I don't have the energy now to be jumping around. Like I love being around the energy because it feels great to be around. But,
we kind of didn't realize that it was like an era that would eventually kind of pass. You know what I mean?
Well, when you're 21, 22, you expect you're 10 foot tall and bulletproof.
Maybe 20 foot.
Yeah, maybe, So.
That's so interesting, man. And like when you're working your way up, you said 5.5 years, you end up like assistant GMing. And then like where does it become to where like somebody's like straight up trusting you to like manage their bar? Do you know what I mean? Because that's a leap of faith in somebody. Like you got the keys.
You got the keys. And depending upon the owner, you're the captain of making sure that their life savings is taken care of.
Yes.
Because it depends. You could be dealing with an owner who has saved up for a great portion of their life to get to this point, and they're entrusting you to see their vision through.
I never thought of it that way, man. That's great.
And it's scary.
Yeah, I believe that. It's a lot of weight on your shoulders, I imagine.
It is a lot of weight, and it's a lot of trust back and forth between you and the owner. And you don't want to let that person down. I mean,
totally.
Really, you don't want to let yourself down because here's the other side of that coin. Let's say you don't live up to those things and you fail as a GM. How many more opportunities are you going to get from any other owners?
True.
Because
it's a big shot.
To take their money and try to expand upon it. So it becomes a lot. I liken it to like the head football coach. They just want you to win. Okay?
Yeah, just win the game.
Al Davis, baby, just win, baby, win. That's it.
At the end of the day,
that's it. Nobody wants to hear about losses.
That's so well put, man. And to kind of round back on what you were saying a minute ago, you were saying that if you don't really understand how the Athens kind of network works, like you won't really succeed. Can you kind of like? That's super interesting to me. Can you kind of tell me what you mean by that? Does that question make sense? Like
it makes sense.
Yeah?
I mean, being a student at UGA, when I got to campus my freshman year, there was things that were just integrated for students, and it was on campus.
Yeah.
And then when you left campus with students. So now that I am, post grad, and I see Athens as someone who lives here now, lives and works here, you know, it's almost like this invisible wall, you know, like that I didn't see when I was in undergrad. Okay. You know, I didn't go places that were not student oriented. Yeah, college. You know, so but if you don't understand that because you weren't a student, you can't navigate in those spaces.
Makes so much sense.
You know, you can't speak to people in those spaces because you're speaking Greek to them. You know, no pun intended. You know?
I like that.
You know, but you really. It is a community. It's a, you know, once a dog, always a dog.
Yeah, totally.
You know how sweet it is. You know, so but you're able to just really be. I know when I'm talking to students. I know when I'm not talking to students.
Absolutely.
You know, when I was a student, I preferred to be around students because you know I left home. I'm 4 hours away from where I grew up. You know,
where did you grow up? Sorry,
Effingham County. It's literally right outside of Savannah.
I can't believe it's 4 hours though, man. I didn't realize it was that far.
912, baby.
Wow. All right. So I'm sorry. Continue on. Grew up 4 hours away.
You know, but you really want to get this college experience. You know, some people get 4 years, some people get 5, some people get 6. You know, so but you really want to soak it up because once you get that degree, once you go out in the real world, you're really going to look back on these years and kind of go, man,
what a time!
It went by so fast. Yes, you know, and I tried to do everything I possibly could in undergrad. You know, but I definitely I don't regret it. You know, I wish I'm actually I don't regret it, but I'm so glad there was no smartphones.
Yeah,
when I was in
that, man.
You know, the early 2000s. Yeah. Oh man,
there's no evidence.
Thankfully.
So, you guys are like the last little generation to get no smartphones, man.
We got lucky. Yeah. You know, as we were getting out of undergrad is when the smartphone kind of era started.
The Motorola started showing up.
Yeah. Well, you get on Facebook Live now in 2 seconds. Yeah. Like, no, absolutely not.
It's the last thing you needed when you were 19 in a bar.
Because I could just see my parents seeing the things that I
Tuning
did.
In.
Oh man. Oh no.
Man.
You don't need those things if you have helicopter parents. You know, like
helicopter parents.
You don't need those things. You
what
know,
does that mean?
You never heard the term helicopter parents? So. Like the parents that just hover over their kids. And,
great. No,
little Johnny and you know little Susie can't go anywhere without the parents knowing exactly what they're doing. Right. Yeah, no. I need some freedom.
Yeah. That was the college point.
That was 4 hours away. That was my freedom. You know,
and you kind of learn how to network a little bit. Like you don't realize it, right? But are you like? You know what I mean?
I mean, networking is great, you know, and like I said, I got the opportunity. I was in Redcoats, you know, for great. 4 years. And I think that was a great introduction to socializing, you know, in college. And they do a really good job of integrating new students and saying, hey, you just acquired 450 new friends, you know, in Redcoats.
That's awesome.
And I'd be lying if I said that every time we had practice at Redcoats, I'd see someone that I didn't even see the day before. I'm like, you're in Redcoats?
That's wild.
You're here? You've been here the whole year. You know? So it
this
was.
Whole time.
I can't believe it. What do you play?
You know, torn.
You're in my section? No way. So, but it really felt like that. You know, they're very warm and I love the Redcoats. I still do everything I can. I actually teach. In the summers, I teach Brookwood High School's band camp every summer.
Yeah,
gonna tell my age here, but I think I just completed my 18th or 19th year teaching their band camp in the summers.
Man. Yeah. Like marching band, kind of.
Marching band, yeah. I mean, I started when I was 18.
Wow. Okay.
You know, teaching their camp. So
I loved marching band in high school. I only did it 1 year, but I loved it, man.
Man, it's my favorite thing. And then you know, I wasn't Hairy Dawg until my junior year.
Okay, how did that come about?
It came about from a dare.
Oh, really?
You know, friends of mine, they dared me. I don't know what we were talking about, but I saw Hairy Dawg from the stands in Redcoats. He was doing something, and I was like, I can do that. They were like, no, you can't. I'm like, no, I seriously can. They were like, whatever, I bet you can't. So I literally I'd already had a kind of networking with the cheerleading coach.
Gotcha.
So I literally went down immediately in my Redcoat suit, went to the cheerleading coach. I was like, what do I have to do to become Hairy Dawg? And she was like, J-Rod, you want to be Hairy Dawg? And I was like, yes. So what do I need to do? And she told me about the tryout. She told me when it was, and she told me I can go online and kind of research everything before showing up. And so I'd already talked to a couple of the guys that were Hairy Dawg.
Done some research.
Done,
Due diligence.
Look, man, you're not going to bet me on something and then I'm not going to show up, So it's actually, man, it's a lot more serious than you would expect. It's a 3-day process, or it was a 3-day process. I actually got the opportunity with a couple of guys that were Hairy Dawg before, and we judged the Hairy Dawg competition. I want to say it was 2 years ago. It was right before COVID.
Word. 2019, I guess. 2020.
I believe so. So they asked us back to be able to judge. Really? So we judged for the Harrys, we judged for the Spike, and we judged for Mike Man as well. And that was a lot of nostalgia there.
Yeah,
that was kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, I remember when they did it the first day, Mark Rick was there. They had Mark Rick.
What an era.
They had Vince Dooley. Woo. They had Coach Herrick, who was the basketball coach at the time. Okay. They had 2 professional mascots. One of the mascots from the Atlanta Hawks, Harry the Hawk, was there. The cheerleading coach, and if I'm not mistaken, the president of the university. It wasn't Moorhead. It wasn't Moorhead then. It was Michael Adams, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So you're in there and you see all these faces of everyone that you see as an undergrad, and you're like, these are very important people. So
there's some weight here.
And they push you in the room. Now there's 120 people trying out for 6 spots. Wow. So there's 2 Harrys for football. There's 2 Harrys for basketball, and then there's 2 Spikes. Okay. So I wanted to be Harry. I didn't want to be Spike.
Yeah, what is the difference? I don't think I've ever noticed, honestly.
So Spike is the inflatable.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
So there's 2 guys for each. So one guy will do one half, and another guy will do a second half.
Totally.
And the inflatable is a little bit different than
the costume.
Because they don't have it. It's nowhere near the same weight. Yeah. It doesn't require the same physical requirements. You can tell I'm a little biased as a former Hairy Dawg. Let one of the older Spikes hear this podcast. I'm gonna get some text messages out of like, what's all this hate? What's all this Spike hate? No, there's some good guys, but I mean it really, you come in there, so they're asking you like these pageant style questions, and they're pushing like 20 people in this conference room at a time.
I can't believe it's that many. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hundreds? Wow.
120 people that try it out. And so they're asking you, the question they asked me was, what was the moral that your parents bestowed upon you that you thought is the most important?
Big ask.
And I was like, oh man, crazy question right there.
This is just a dare.
So I went with loyalty. I was like, because if you're loyal to something, you never forget who you are, where you come from, and you don't stray from that path. So I feel like I know who I am, I know who I want to be, and I know what I represent. And I'm thankful to be a part of the Bulldog Nation, and I want to be loyal to this, and I want to represent this in the best way possible.
It's a great answer off the top of your head, man. Jeez.
And you sit there and you're watching Mark Rick go, that was good.
Nah, bro.
You're watching Mark Rick go.
Oh, damn.
This from J-Rod. So that was fun. And then and that's the first day. And then, the first day they also ask you like things that you should know about the university. What year the university was chartered, which actually is the name of 1785.
That was the question. I figured it was. But.
So 1785 is the year the University of Georgia was chartered. So
awesome.
So they asked you that, and then they asked us to recite a verse of the alma mater, which the only reason I knew it is because I was in Redcoats.
Yeah.
And
sing it every Saturday, right?
No, when we play it.
Yeah.
But the words are underneath it, like on the scores. So, so I was like, yeah, I know that. So they're constantly dropping people off. Like, you're cut, get out of here. You know, so I'm like, ooh, that's tough, right? It's a tough room. So,
Dark Rick sends you out.
So they whittle it down to like 60 people after the first day.
Wow.
And then the second day is a physical requirement because if you're going to be in the suit, you have to physically be able to handle it. So there's all these, I guess, these physical, you know, how fast can you run a mile? You know, how many push-ups can you do? How many sit-ups push-ups you can do?
Kind of sweaty suit, so like a cardio thing, going upstairs.
I played baseball my whole life.
Word.
And until I hurt my knee and later in high school. And I can tell you right now, when I was Hairy Dawg, I was in better shape than I ever was playing baseball.
Really, man?
Because of the physical requirements. Yeah. You know, I mean, we worked out and had a personal trainer 3 days a week.
Wow.
And then we had practice twice a week. You know, and then
a lot of time,
and that's not including games and things of that nature.
Traveling and stuff.
You know, and then you know, class.
Yeah, not to mention.
You know, that biggie. You know, sleep in your next life, Jarrod. You know, so, but it was a lot, and it really let you know that there's a world within a world here at UGA, because before I was in that world, I wasn't exposed to those things.
Totally.
You know,
how could you be?
You know, you're in study hall with all the athletes. Yeah. You know, you're signing up to classes before everyone else. You know, you're going to luncheons, you know, because you're Hairy Dawg. You know, it is
that's cool, man. You know, I never would have known any of that, dude. That's
man, it's a full-time gig. Yeah, you know, it is, but it's something that you kind of have to experience. It's so hard to even like quantify and tell you, even that in that 1 year, the things that I experienced. And I was 20 years old. I was just like, you want me to go here? Cool. Yeah, I'll go there. Yeah. Left, I'll go left, you know. And so it was, you know, someone said it and you just did it. That's all you did, you know. Didn't have time to think. All right, whatever. Yeah, go Dogs, you know. So, but you know, it was a great time. You know, that was, you know, David Pollack and David Green.
I
spent a lot of time with those guys. David Pollack is probably the best Halo player I've ever played with in my life.
That's mind-boggling.
He is a video game head.
Really?
Yes, we played Halo weekly.
What? That's hilarious, dude.
Daily.
Interesting. You talk about the man who's announcing every weekend now, the Halo guy.
Yeah, he's a video game head. If he's not announcing, I promise you, he's probably playing Halo somewhere in his hotel room right now. He is hurting some kid's feelings on live right now. Like
Pollack 1 through 3 is cutting them down, bro.
Yeah. See me on College Football Live later, but
love it.
I'm getting these kills right now.
Yeah.
You know, so.
That's hilarious, man. So you're kind of in that era of, I guess, Pollack. I'm trying to do the year math on this. He'd have been the quarterback 2 of your years. Is that correct? All 4?
All 4. Well, Pollack wasn't the quarterback. Green was the quarterback.
I'm sorry. Yeah, mixed up.
But yeah, I mean, me and Pollack came in freshman year together.
Wow. Okay.
It was 2001. That was actually Rick's first year.
Yes. Okay.
That was a very special time, man.
Yeah. That Rick era was exciting, man.
That time here in Athens, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's not that things aren't special now, because they really are. We just won the Natty. I mean,
so special.
But,
let's go.
I mean, you look back on it, and players and times like that built the foundation for us to get to where we are.
Totally.
You know, so, you know, you don't forget those things.
Did you'd have been leaving at the start of like the Stafford era, right? Stafford, AJ, Moonshine era.
Yeah,
correct?
I was leaving undergrad, but I was still in Athens.
Yeah,
you know,
so you still caught it.
I knew those kids. Yeah. You know, I knew Moonshine, I knew Stafford, Rennie Curran, AJ Green, a lot of those guys. Who I really got a chance to see, because obviously
you were around.
You're in the bar business. You're gonna see them. You're gonna see people. You know, you know, of age, of course.
Of course. Well, so, dude, that's fascinating. Like all those eras, kind of like a special place in my heart. You know what I mean? You think back on like the Pollack and then the Stafford and then the Fromm eras. You know, I think fondly on those. But sorry, we got lost. You got cut down to the last 20. Is that where you were at on the Hairy Dogs?
So the final day, you're down to like the last, I think it was 20. It was either 16 or 20 people.
Yeah.
And you get to be in the suit for 3 minutes. You get to do any routine you want.
Really?
And so, because I was in Redcoats, I got with a couple of the girls on the dance line. So I was like, hey, let's put together a routine. So we put together a choreographed routine to MC Hammer's You Can't Touch This. And thankfully, my mom is a master seamstress. So she was able to like make one like the pants, the big MC Hammer pants, over the suit, and then I had like the shimmering vest with the Georgia G on it. So I came out, and the girls were dressed similar, and we came out and did that. And I actually, this is definitely telling my age now. I did a split in the suit. Twice.
Let's go.
In the choreographed routine. I can't do a split now.
I can't do it either, man.
This is as a dance. Like I was dancing, spun around, split, got back up, did the dance, and then at the end of the routine, ended it with a split.
Agile.
And it was crowds going crazy. And it was I gave it everything I could. And then
seems like it, man. You went over the top.
Well, you're sitting there watching everybody else perform. You're like, that was good. I think he did good. I think he did well too. So
nice.
So you're being a spectator after that, kind of watching your competitors do what they're doing, but you're also going, man, like I thought I did well too. Yeah. And so they post the results the next day at 8 a.m. On the window at the Stegman Coliseum, and you're there at like 7:50, or you're like
camped out.
20 other guys just
these guys,
and you just walk up, and you see your name, and you're just you don't want to it's a lot to hit you at once. It's a lot of emotion. But at the same time, I don't want to show that emotion in front of guys who are not on that list. Absolutely. Because I'm not trying to show them up.
Yeah, not rub it in or anything.
And because, I literally saw my name. I asked another guy, I was like, hey, man,
what does that say?
What does that say, right? Does that say Jarrod Miller? I just want to make sure I'm not like, fabricating something in my head. He was like, yeah, it says Jarrod Miller. Okay, thank you, sir.
I appreciate it.
I walk back to my car and start screaming in my car.
That's crazy, man.
I was like, let's go. So dude. It was a great time. So, but no, man, I it's just a little small part of life,
People who don't go to university here, though, might not understand that. Like you saying, it is like even just graduating here has a lot of weight to it. So, like, taking part in something that's got, like, some history to it, kind of, like, that's pretty damn cool.
Well, the UGA alumni base is massive.
Yeah, huge.
I haven't been to, but I've heard there's a UGA bar in New York.
What?
Yes, I've heard of it.
That's hype.
I'm gonna have to go. Yeah. I'm actually dating a young lady who is finishing up her doctorate in linguistics currently at NYU.
Fancy. Go visit.
Yeah, so I'll be in New York shortly.
Well, let me know how this bar is. Like, it's UGA themed, or
yes, UGA themed. Like,
that's awesome.
Which I'm like, what, in New York?
Yeah.
But I've seen pictures of it. I've seen video. So it's the real deal.
Yeah, the alumni base is incredible. There's like, you can go on Facebook, like we were talking earlier. There's like groups for every city. It's like Colorado Dogs or Denver Dogs, and they just have places where they meet up and watch games. Like, that's just awesome.
I mean, I'm just humbled to be able to be a part of that,
Totally.
And see alumni from every age bracket, and I, obviously I get kids that I manage at the bars now who are now younger alumni. So that's always cool. So I just feel like it's one big fraternity that just keeps growing and growing and growing.
Exactly.
So I love it.
It's nice to be a part of it, man. I didn't realize that you had so much connection to it until now. So I'm glad we're doing this. So what part of that makes you like? I guess that kind of pageantry of it makes you want to name 1785 85, or did you have any part of that kind of?
Yeah, I mean, we came to that name. We came to it a couple of years ago, honestly, and we knew we wanted a name that was more synonymous with the university.
Absolutely.
And we kind of, we thought, well, 1785, like, how can someone shorten that? If I'm drunk, like, are people going to say 85 or are they going to say 17? Because with Moonshine, people go, "Oh, we're going to shine."
Yeah.
Got
that slang.
Right, or if we're going to Silver Dollar, we're going to Silver. We're going to Magnolias, we're going to Mags. Double barrel, we're going to double. Like every when you're drunk, you shorten things.
To shorten something.
So we were like, how are people going to shorten this?
Yeah.
How are we going to represent that? So, but obviously, it's definitely
caught.
It's caught on.
Yeah, but I hear 17 though.
I hear 17. I hear 85. Like,
just depends.
But for me, I really was like, man, like I hope people realize the significance of that name.
Yeah, because when it clicks, it makes a lot more sense, than just a random year, of course.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Well, when I was in Redcoats, the Shako, the helmet that we wear. On every Shako, it has the arch, and then underneath the arch is 1785.
Really?
So
okay.
I've been seeing that number for 4 years. Like,
you knew it.
Indoctrinated.
And like did you have any part of it of when it was jerseys, or I was under the impression that you kind of picked it up after, right?
No. So we were a part of it with jerseys.
Okay.
And we knew, so in the nightclub bar industry, you always, every bar has about a 3 to 5 year life,
it seems like that
expectancy before it either goes under for financial reasons,
name change,
or you do a massive renovation.
Okay.
Because after 3 to 5 years, people get used to seeing the same 4 walls, and they go,
there's somewhere new to go.
Let's go to a new place. So it's just how places operate.
Okay.
So if a business can succeed outside of that 3 to 5 year kind of period, then they're really doing something.
Yeah.
Or they really found a niche that is sustainable. But we had reached, I want to say it was reached year 7.
Okay.
Year 5, we kind of made that decision. We're like, all right, we either need to double down with jerseys, or we need to start looking at
rebrand.
Not either a rebrand, remodel, everything. The whole shebang. Because we had, let's see here, by the end of year 2 of jerseys, we had acquired Moonshine.
Gotcha.
So going into year 3, we had acquired Moonshine. So we've gone from 1 bar to 2, and then before the end of year 3, we had acquired On the Rocks.
Gotcha.
And we recently just sold that business, I believe, back in August.
Yeah.
So we went, we had operating with 3 businesses at the height of that. So year 5, we're 3 businesses, kind of 3 different themes, 3 different crowds,
vibes,
and then kind of okay. And the thing about it is public perception is one thing, numbers are a different thing. So we were at a point where the business was growing financially, for jerseys, but we didn't feel the same love and camaraderie. And that's when we kind of went, the name is definitely not helping us.
Yeah.
So that's when we definitely made the move and say, all right, well, we should start looking into potential change.
Totally.
And what ended up happening is we'd already planned that. We'd set it forth in motion, and January 1 of 2020 was when we became 1785.
Gotcha.
We did a lot of renovations, changed a lot of things in the space. We stained the floors to kind of make it look more classy instead of that.
The pillars, weren't they kind of new? Like the
we
covering?
changed the pillars as well.
Like, wow, they spiced it up in here.
We changed the front facades of the bar. We moved the DJ booth. We did a lot. So, and we're still not done. That's the crazy part. And then, so we did that January 1, and then COVID, the shutdown happened in March.
2 months later?
2.5, 3 months later, March 17th, really.
That's tough, man.
And so it's like, man, we just changed the name of what was a successful business, whether the name itself was not really connecting with people, we definitely took a risk business-wise. And then next thing you know, we're shut down for 3 months. Like everyone is shut down for 3 months. And, sitting at home and going, man, like they're really picking on the bar and restaurant industry.
Tough.
What's it going to be like when we open? Are we going to be able to open? Is this the new reality? So that became a lot of fear. We opened back up late June. Is when
right.
I believe they allowed the bars to open back up.
I remember there was a whole like pitch or whatever, like all the bars had band together for like a appeal or something.
Yeah, we did have to fight that, but that was later. So they allowed the bars to open back up, and if I'm not mistaken, it was the 35% capacity for bars and restaurants.
Hours.
And the hour changed, but I think that went into effect right before classes started.
Gotcha.
In August, late August, to where they restricted it to midnight close.
Yeah, that was weird.
And that was something that we ended up having to fight because we knew that could be an ongoing thing, and take away the 2 a.m.
the two most important hours for you guys, right? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Give or take.
So it just became one of those things where, people had to adapt. And that was a very scary time, I think, for Athens.
Totally.
And, because we're a restaurant, we were able to operate with
Daytime
larger capacity.
Okay.
So we were, packed all the time. Really? So it became just... It was welcome because people got to really experience 1785, and the product that we do, and we specialize in large venues. That's what we do. We want to make sure that we can handle large crowds and give kind of that festive kind of thought process, and safely, I want you to have a good time. I want you to leave going, man, I had a really good time. There were a lot of people in there. Wow.
It was wild. Yeah.
Yes. Because I look at it. Yes, I'm older now, but I kind of still remember me in undergrad. I would have loved to go to a place like that.
You want to go where the people are.
Yes. Like me now, yes, I want to go to a stand around kind of like,
have a whiskey.
How was your day, honey? It was, but me in undergrad, like, yo, man, let's go to a party. Let's go. Yes. Right. I want to be around a massive amount of people. Like, absolutely. I'm a high energy guy. So,
and you guys have really stepped up as the spot for that. I really believe that.
Well, when I was an undergrad, that spot didn't do much.
Really? It was the same size and everything?
Same size. Students didn't go there.
Really?
It was like, but it didn't cater to students. Gotcha. It wasn't renovated the way it is. Everything wasn't nice and new and clean. It was. It wasn't that way.
It wasn't 1785. Is what you're saying, kind of.
No.
Gotcha. And when you guys go to I hate to say acquire something like that, is there like you guys like a team of investors, or is there
there's one owner? There's one owner.
One owner, okay, who kind of puts everything together.
So there's one owner puts it together, and he does a really good job of really figuring out a space, making sure that it's going to go well for us, and then my job is to make sure that vision, we can actually make it work within the vision. If we come to a conclusion of where he says, I think this can work, and I go, all right, well, I see your vision in that. Because I'm almost like a mini owner in a sense.
Yeah. But, you definitely got your fingers in there.
But, the opportunity to learn what he's thinking, and then for me, in the operational sense of operations, like how do I get what he has in his mind, and make sure that the staff can figure it out, and then not only that, the crowd,
totally.
The general public is going to go, whoa, I really like that. So there is a lot of glue that has to kind of take place there.
Yeah, and when he's kind of telling you about this, like, what is the vision for something like 1785 or Moonshine? I assume it varies a ton, of course, but like you guys are like, there's decisions that have to be made. Like, is this a restaurant and we're gonna sell drinks as well, or other way around? College, older, mid range.
If I had to explain 1785 versus Moonshine, 1785 we do have a full restaurant and we do serve food. I'd say we're a bar that has food capabilities.
That also sells food.
But the beautiful thing about the venue that we've kind of made is that you can go into the bar on, let's say, a Sunday, and I'm pretty sure you've been in on a Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
We do karaoke nights on Sunday.
Of course.
The vibe that you get on a Sunday is not the same vibe that you're going to get on a
not
Saturday.
Even close. Yeah.
It's not. It's completely
in a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more of the chill atmosphere.
Absolutely.
People are doing karaoke. People are eating. People are watching the NFL, and it's more of a sit down kind of. We bring out more tables and chairs, and it has a different, more relaxed vibe as opposed to the night before on a Saturday. You got the dance floor, and people are throwing booty, and doing the nay or whatever the new dance is, it's all that. So every Drake song is playing. I don't know. But it has where there's different vibes.
Yes.
Whereas with Moonshine, that's the vibe. It's all
always
the vibe you're going to get at Moonshine is going to be every day, and that is the allure of that business.
Gotcha.
Some people love the different changes of 1785 because I can tell you the people that come on Sundays are not the same people that come on Saturdays.
Yeah, totally.
And the people who come on Wednesdays don't come. Is
really. Is it Wing Wednesday?
Wing Wednesday, man.
It's great.
50-cent wings, 50-cent boneless.
So is the name of the game kind of like staying lean and fluid, or I guess it depends because you're saying Moonshine's pretty much the same.
Well, it's the same, but it offers a product that is still in line with what we want to do. We want to be clean. We want to be professional. We want to be able to give you a product. It's kind of like McDonaldization, where you go to McDonald's, you order a Big Mac. You want a Big Mac.
Exactly.
I don't want 2 fish sticks on my Big Mac. You
didn't go there for Frosty. What I mean?
I want a Big Mac. Where's my Big Mac? I'm
hungry now.
So I mean, being able to provide that and letting people know that they have something they can rely on. I think that's one of the things that we do well with our businesses is that people get to go, I know what the product is, and I want that. So cool, Yes, or is the line long? Yeah, I know that. We're trying to get you in as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Is it cold? Yes, I know it's cold. We're all out there. But we want to make sure you get in and have that experience. And training your staff from door to bar back to bartenders. That these people just had a rough. You could have just had a rough week. Yeah. You could have had a great week. Yeah. You could have got a promotion. You could have aced the final or your test. You could have flunked that final or test. You could have a new boyfriend or girlfriend. You could have just broke up. Valentine's Day is coming up. But I teach the staff to go. We're in the business of experiences.
Totally.
I want when you walk through our doors, whether it be 1785 or Moonshine. That experience, we want you to have an experience, because you're either celebrating something to come out, you're getting away from something, you're drowning your sorrows, or you're, a birthday coming up.
Yeah, could be anything.
It's our job to make sure that when you come out that whatever's going on outside that 4 walls, forget about it. We're here to help you enjoy yourself for this short time that you're here.
I love that.
And then you go home, be safe, and
I love the way you talk about it because, I feel like a lot of people look at things kind of wrong as in, this is what they can do for us, but the way you talk about it is this is what we can do for you kind of. And, that company culture, do you guys talk about culture kind of? You know what I mean? I kind of figured you do. But, it's weird to ask, are you guys, when you're getting people in there, it's oh, we're taking a shot on a new employee or whatever. How do you instill that kind of culture of, we're doing this for the people that are coming here? I know it's a big ask, but I'm just curious.
So I'll do hospitality training for my staff.
Yeah, I bet that helps a ton.
It helps. So the one thing I always tell my staff is, who do you work for? And they say, well, I work for you, Jarrod. No, you don't. And I say, okay, who do you work for? Oh, we work for the owner. Who do you work for? We work for the customer. Ultimately, the customer is going to decide if they want to support our business or not support our business.
Absolutely.
And they're going to decide that with how we treat them and the experiences that they have with our business. You know, if they have a great experience and they feel like they are made number one, that customer is always going to decide to choose us
over anywhere.
And we're in Athens, you know, there's a lot of bars here,
yeah,
you know,
plenty,
so they have a lot of choice,
totally.
You know, so we have to not only understand that we're grateful that people choose us, and, you know, we see the amount of people that come to our business, and we can pack out such a large space.
Yeah, huge.
But at the moment that we take that for granted is when it's gone.
That's
awesome.
Know, and that,
yeah, and
so true.
And telling my staff that is that, you know, we have to make sure that everyone that walks through that door, we're, you know, whether it's one person or, you know, 1,000, you know, we're excited about it.
That's awesome, man. That's how you win right there. That kind of mindset, sort of. I love to hear that. And how many employees would you have? I imagine just a ton to keep that culture going with everybody. You know what I mean? Like
230.
Jeez, jeez, I can't imagine having to manage that many people.
Well, that's between both bars.
Gotcha. Still a ton, man. And I feel like you guys have done a really good job of that. And it just seems like all the bartenders usually smiling when I'm there, which is nice. And you know, that just means a lot to me, kind of. So, and what would you have to say about, like, if you had any trouble with that? Like, I guess what I'm asking is, what have been like some issues, like, in the creation of the bar process, kind of like, what have been some stepping stones, like, we shouldn't do that. That's great. That's not. You know, is anything you want to talk about on that?
I mean, those, you know, you have to have another podcast for that one.
Another episode.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be ups and downs. There's going to be mistakes. And the one thing I tell my staff and I try to live by is, we're going to make mistakes. We're human, you know, but what's going to set us apart is, are we going to learn from that mistake? You know, are we going to grow from it? You know, make the mistakes, because they're going to happen, and be confident in making those mistakes. But don't make a mistake and just revel in that mistake. Let's learn from it. Let's be better for it.
That makes so much sense.
And that's how people grow, and that's how they gain confidence. Because if I just allowed them to make mistakes, but then would never taught them how to grow from that, you know, you're just beating people down.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not in the business of beating people down. I'm in the business of growing people and really investing in our people.
And that's how they kind of like become a fan of you as well. Like, nobody wants to work for someone that's like beating them down. You know what I mean? Like, it just makes the team better, right?
And it's tough. I mean, because you have to demand a lot from people.
Totally.
And a lot of times if you demand from them, they think that you're hard on them. You know, I can tell you right now, I'm only hard on the people that I know can do more.
Yeah, gotcha.
You know, if I'm hard on you, it means I see a lot of potential in you.
That's great.
You know, and I used to hear teachers say that all the time.
And you thought it was cap, right?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? But I mean, it's true. I mean, when you know someone can do more, and they're giving you 70%, when you know there's another 30% that they can give you, and it's just you're like, come on,
putting your head up against the wall.
I know you have it in you. Like, what are you doing? Like, you know, come on, Iron Man, what are you doing? It's tough, but like, it's very rewarding to watch them grow.
I can see that, because they kind of become like your little investment, sort of. Is that how it feels a little bit?
Man,
sometimes.
Yes, and it's you feel like a parent.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because you really, whether you intend to or not, you really invest in these people. You invest in their triumphs. You invest in their failures in life. You know, you see the little things. They get in a car accident. You know, you're worried. You know, the same way a parent would be. You know, they're not just, hey, you clock in, clock out. Good job cleaning.
Get out of here.
You really, you know, when they have struggles or fears, you know, they contact me, you know, they call me, and I'm like, okay,
that's heavy, man. You know what I mean?
What's going on? No, sit down. No, where are you? Yeah, you know, things of that nature. And I think that also makes people want to be in a position where they work for someone who cares. You know?
Absolutely.
Now, I know there's only 24 hours in the day, and we're ever expanding, but I always tell my staff, I will carve out time for anything that you need. You know, I mean, please don't make me carve out time just for you to tell me about your Pokemon cards, you know, but you know, so
keep it essential,
you know, but yeah, I mean, if it is something that I have to stop what I'm doing to be able to help them and to help a young person, you know, I had one of my bartenders years ago. Her sister got an MIP and got arrested, and she was freaking out. So I had to go help bail her out. Her sister out. And then, so she worked for me, and then eventually her sister worked for me. Oh, yeah. So it was, and the mother and father, the parents absolutely loved that. Yeah.
That's a big leap of faith.
Because I clearly could have just been like, not my problem, but they were like, our daughters are working for J-Rod. They're not working for anybody else.
Yeah.
So it means more, when people care.
Absolutely, dude. I couldn't agree more. I love the way you talk about it, man. It seems like you're really passionate about that kind of stuff. And everybody I know that does work for you, like Sammy Diaz and Josie Griswold, as I told you, they all talk very, very fondly of you, which is nice. And when you ever just like look around and like you're in your bar and you got 150 people working for you one night just grinding, you ever just look around and go, fuck, man, we're really doing something here. You know what I mean? I know it's cheesy and all, but do you ever do that?
I have those little Disney moments sometimes.
Yeah, Disney moments is a good way to put it.
I mean, I'm fortunate, man. I'd tell people, I'm just a country boy from South Georgia. You know, I'm able to live the dream. I'm in an industry in which I get to work hard and be around some amazing young people.
Absolutely.
And, some of them I think will be in the bar business, in the future, whether it be in our company or out doing their own things. Some people will only be in the bar business while they're in undergrad.
Totally.
That's fine, but the life lessons that they're going to learn working for us, how to work with others, how to be a part of a team, how to grow their skills in something that is new for them is going to be great, for whatever they choose to do in life, and how to work hard at it and, have some pride in it, So I have people that are now in the corporate world. I have people that are now owning their own businesses and other, that have worked for me in the past.
That's exciting.
So I get to keep tabs on them and kind of make sure they're on the, some of them that are married with kids now, that
were 18 when they started.
I'm like, it blows my mind, so those memories I love, and I get to see a lot of those kids football season, because people that are alumni always tend to come back for game days. So it's always great to see those faces, and to see where life has taken them and how they've grown.
That's fantastic.
So I love that,
You're like a teacher, and you keep reaping the fruits of your labor. You know what I mean? You're like, oh wow, he's killing it. He's killing it. She's killing it.
Well, and then I forget, man, I'm getting older in this scenario. So, so that part is that part is bittersweet, but I love it.
The nostalgia's good, man.
Yeah.
What is I guess leading off that kind of, what is the like? Not the employee dynamic, but like maybe the bar dynamic downtown. We're in an hour, so we're going to be wrapping up shortly, but I had a few more little things I definitely want to ask you. Like when you guys see other bars open, like, is it like sort of a competition, or is it more of like you're homies with everybody at Silver Dollar, or like, is there a little bit of like, oh, they're doing Pong Day on Thursday, we better do it on Friday, or like when you see somewhere like Paloma open, are you like, dang it, another bar, or you know what I mean? What's that dynamic like?
I mean, how your mindset is and how you approach this industry is going to dictate, a lot.
Totally.
You have to run your race. That's first off. You have to believe in your product. You have to believe in how you're going about everything you're doing. But you also you can't have blinders on to where you're not paying attention to the market as well. You're not paying attention to how people are reacting to new or what's existing in the market. So if you're doing your due diligence, you are aware of your competitors, but it shouldn't rock you to the core.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a main drive.
For me, because I look at it not only as a competitor, but I look at it as cool and a place that I get to go when I'm not working. I can, totally. Because I feel like I'm in my bars a lot working. But, if I want to take somebody on a date night, I want to go to another business. If I feel like I go to the same places all the time, like I do get antsy. And I think of that as a consumer as well, not just as a business owner or a business operator, where a consumer will say, man, I go to the same 3 bars every weekend,
Monday through Sunday.
Can somebody open up something else? So
not me though.
So I gather that. So people get excited about something new, or they want to try something new, or you get the McDonaldization effect. They go, well, I know what that offers. I don't know what they're offering.
Totally.
I don't know if I want a chili dog today. It really is saying, look, this is what we offer. This is how we want to go about it. And then, working to make sure you connect with your audience.
Absolutely,
and that is why we work as hard, and why we try to teach people, I guess, the finer parts of the industry.
Absolutely, man. I think you've done a great job of that, dude. I just love the way you talk about it. I can tell you're passionate about this kind of stuff. Like, even though this might have just been a way to pay the bills at the bar, you ended up loving it, didn't you?
It started off as I just want a job.
And now you really dig it, though, don't you?
I love it, man.
I love that. I figured, man. Well, dude, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's been an hour and 5 minutes. I don't want to keep you too much longer.
No problem. I really appreciate you, bringing me on. What we really need to do is figure out some time for you to come perform,
dude. I would love that
in the future. So I'm down for that,
dude. I remember we had a few talks about this, and you were saying this is actually interesting. Just a little short thing. You were saying that you guys have made the decision to go mainly DJ.
Yeah,
and I think that was smart because there's bands at every bar. So like you guys kind of put your corner on it, and there's only.
And I'll tell you what. So with 1785, we're actually going to be doing an expansion. I don't know. Did I mention that?
I think you glanced over it, but I just kind of shook it by.
So we're expanding both bars.
Really?
We acquired the vacant spaces to the left of both businesses. So what used to be El Azteca next to 1785.
The sushi place?
No, the sushi place is still there.
Okay,
there was a Mexican restaurant to the left of us. We're going to turn that into a game room.
What?
Yeah,
let's go, bro.
We're going to call it Halftime. At 1785. Nice. So we're going to knock small portions of the wall out, kind of like how Bar South is, so you can kind of walk through. I think we're going to have 3 pool tables. We're going to have a lot of shuffleboard. We're going to have dartboards, video games, tee golf, and little things of that nature. So it's just going to have its own vibe. So I think it's going to be something great. So I think we're gonna when we get it ready and it's ready to go, I think we're gonna really do a really kickoff week. So
that's exciting.
I'd be interested in having like a little small band or something like that.
Man. I know a band that could play a few tunes.
You know a band there?
Yeah. Dude, that's a great idea though, because you get another corner right there, like another like you're even more versatile than you already were.
Well, in Moonshine, we're going to do something similar, but it's not going to be a game room. We're just going to literally be bigger, increasing the size of Moonshine.
Would that be? Wasn't it Barbaritos next to it?
It was Eddie's Calzones.
That's it. That's it. You're right. Word. Well, that's a pretty big space too, man. That's exciting, dude. Expansion. So instead of like buying different spots, you guys are just like, we're gonna make ours bigger.
Bigger.
Interesting. You don't have to rebrand everything. Nice.
That's the American way. Bigger.
Love it,
better.
Man. Like the Big Mac, man. Come on.
Yeah. Can we biggie size that, please? Thank you.
Well, dude, thank you so much for coming in. Kind of tell the camera where everybody can look you up so they can check your stuff, your bar, Instagrams, all that stuff that you want people to know about you.
Well, if you want to go, obviously 1785. I think it's 1785barandgrill.com.
Sounds right.
Sure, you can find that. We're on every platform. We're on Instagram. We're on, I believe we're also on Facebook and Snapchat. So anytime we're doing giveaways, we also do a lot of Instagram giveaways.
Ooh, might be a good follow, everybody.
Follow is good. Yeah. We give away seats to State Farm Arena for tickets.
What?
I think we're going to give away Justin Bieber tickets.
What? Unbelievable.
And maybe Bad Bunny tickets coming up. So,
flex on.
I don't know. I'm not going to see Bieber. So, but we definitely do that. We're doing a high noon giveaway as well between Moonshine and 85. So a lot of things like that you'll see on social media that we'll click, follow, add, do those things. So Moonshine Athens, I believe, 1785 Bar and Grill. So
sounds right.
Find those. Obviously, you see me every weekend.
Yeah,
You don't
you're welcome face.
Yeah, you don't have to follow me, but I think 6'4" black guy is pretty easy to find.
No, you post some funny memes and shit, dude. I'd be just crying laughing at your story sometimes. I'm like, this guy's funny, man.
I'm goofy, man. I got that stand-up comedian background.
I love that. We should have talked about that a little bit, but maybe next time.
Next time.
Got to get you back in here. Let's do one whenever you guys talk about opening that room, and we'll do it as like a promo thing, because
I love it.
We have a pretty good following of Athens people that are just interested in this kind of stuff, and I appreciate you coming on, because I really haven't had many like entrepreneurs, CEOs kind of vibes, and I want to, because like everything you're talking about is just fascinating to me, man. So
awesome.
Thanks for coming on, dude.
Thanks
everybody for listening. If you listen 68 minutes in, I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in the show. Subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave us a review on Apple Podcast. Thank you so much. Let's give him a wave for the thumbnail, all right?
Yeah, take it easy.
Yeah, see ya.
You know what you mean.